All right, so it's JP back with this week's NFL picks. Week 7 is upon us. Now, before I go into this upcoming week's picks, let's see how I did last week. Last week, I was 10 and 5 picking a side. I was 2 and 3 on the spread, and then for my totals, I was 0 and 3. So, for the season, picking a side, I'm 53 and 40. Against the spread, I'm 9, 15 and 1. And my totals picks, I'm 4 and 8. Let's try to redeem ourselves again this week. Man, both the 49ers and the Eagles lost last week, so there are no unbeaten teams anymore. I mean, who could have seen the injuries coming in a 49ers game? Trent Williams got hurt, McCaffrey, and of course Deebo Samuel. Looks like none of them were very serious, but, in fairness to Brock Purdy, it's easy to criticize how he played after those guys got injured, but I mean, those are impactful players, and you're going to be there's a reason you're not going to look as good when those guys aren't on the field. So they are fortunately not hurt very badly, so they should be back in the fray in the near future. Let's look at this week's games. For the Thursday night game this week, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the New Orleans Saints. Jacksonville seems to have found their mojo. There was a point in this season where I was just like, man, where's the Jacksonville team that we saw last year? And now we're starting to see it. I feel like Jacksonville is starting to really come on strong, and I'm going to pick the Jaguars on the road here, taking on the Saints. I just think Jacksonville's playing much better on both sides of the ball. They're on a rhythm. Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is, played pretty well this season. Of course, last week they lost pretty badly to the Lions. But the Lions are a good team. It seems like Tampa Bay's losses this year have come against strong opponents, but if they're taking on middle to below average opponents, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Atlanta, I can't really seem to figure out either. Desmond Ridder seems to be very inconsistent. Offensively, they look anemic at times, and then other times they're able to get down the field. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. They're playing at home. I just think they're a slightly better team right now. Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. Well, at this point, I can't go with the Patriots. They just don't look good right now. They at least didn't get blown out last week against the Raiders, but still not winning football right now. And I know Buffalo almost lost at home against the Giants. It came down to a final play and some clock mismanagement in the first half. But I still think Buffalo is a better team. I think they're still trying to figure out something there. I mean, they've had some injuries this year as well. But one game they'll look really good, like against Miami, and then the next week they'll lose. They had a game in London that was, tough to do for them. I think Buffalo will win this game against New England. Cleveland Browns taking on the Colts. The Browns had a nice victory taking on the 49ers. Deshaun Watson, I don't know if there's a timetable for his return, but I got to go with the Browns just because their defense is playing really good. And of course, Anthony Richardson just had season-ending shoulder surgery, so they're going to ride with Gardner Minshew. Nice quarterback, and obviously they have Jonathan Taylor back there along with Moss, but I think the Browns will win that on the road. Detroit Lions taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I know the Ravens won last week in London, but I don't know. They didn't do it in a very impressive fashion. I mean, there was a lot of field goals kicked. They weren't able to finish drives strongly. And quite frankly, they kept the Titans in that game way longer than they should have been. So, I don't know. I think Detroit's just playing much better football. And I'm going to go with them on the road. I'm a little surprised Baltimore's favored. I know they're playing at home, but I think Detroit's the better team. Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Bears. So you got the Raiders taking on the Bears. Both teams have quarterbacks that are injured. It doesn't look like Jimmy G's going to practice today, and I don't know that he's going to be able to play. He went to the hospital after the game against the Patriots, and then Justin Fields looks like he's not going to play either. So this is going to be an ugly matchup. I'm going to go with the Raiders, but it's hard to really cap this game. It could go very in either direction. Washington Commanders taking on the New York Giants. Man, I can't really figure out either team, really. It seems like from one week to the next, they're different teams. But I will say this, Washington Commanders are playing much better on the road for whatever reason. And I'm going to go with them. I just think division rivalry. It shouldn't be a blowout, but I think Washington's a little bit better. Cardinals at the Seahawks. Cardinals are starting to look like the team I thought they would look like. They had a nice little start to the season where they weren't winning games, but they were playing teams closely. And now they're starting to lose by larger margins, and they're coming back down to earth. They did get that one win against Cowboys, but I don't know that they'll get another one for a while. I'm going with Seattle here. Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Los Angeles Rams. And the Steelers' offense is just so hard to get excited about. It seems like they're just slow and it takes a while to get down the field. They're lacking big plays. The Rams' defense has actually been surprisingly good. And they're keeping the other team out of the end zone as best they can. So I don't know, with the receiving trio now with Kupp back, I really like that offense. I think the Rams will win this game at home. Green Bay Packers taking on the Denver Broncos. Boy, that's a hard one. Neither team's been playing really well. I think just because Denver had a longer layoff, I'm going to go with them. They played last Thursday. They actually played the Chiefs kind of tighter than I thought they would have. So we'll go the edge to the Broncos there. Chargers at the Chiefs. I don't know. It's hard to get behind Justin Herbert. He just doesn't seem like he's taken that next step yet. He is playing with an injury, so you got to give him benefit of the doubt with that. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They did have a little bit of extra rest playing on last Thursday. Dolphins at the Eagles. Something's looking a little bit questionable about this Philly team right now, to be honest. They're not finishing drives. That Jets defense is pretty impressive, but they didn't have Sauce Gardner in there. So the fact that they struggled so mightily against them without their best cover corner, a little bit disappointing. Miami has a lot of weapons that they can burn the Eagles secondary with. I'm going to roll with the Dolphins here in this game. I just think they're playing better football. I think Philly, if they can run the ball, I mean, they got away from the run against the Jets. I think if Philly can run the ball, they certainly are going to be better suited to win this game if they can do that. But I just think Miami's just playing better offensively, and I think the Eagles' defense, there's a lot of injuries piling up on the Eagles' side of the ball. Lane Johnson, Darius Slay missed last week. I guess he's going to play this week. So we'll see what happens. They just signed Julio Jones, but I don't know how much of an impact that really will have. He didn't seem to do a whole lot with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, and then for the Monday night game, we got the 49ers taking on the Vikings. I know the 49ers are coming off a loss against the Browns, but the Browns had a good defense. They do. They really do have a good defense. And I think if either McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel play offensively, that's going to be huge. If they both play, it's going to be really huge. So I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers there. I don't think they'll lose 2 weeks in a row. So before I finish, let me go with my best against the spread picks for the week. I'm going to go with the Jaguars plus 2.5. I think they're going to win the game straight up, so getting plus points just seems like a no-brainer. I'm also going to pick the Detroit Lions plus 3. Once again, I think the Lions are going to win straight up. Giving them plus points just seems easy money. And then I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders minus 3. I think they're a better team, and I think they'll be able to win by more than 3 points. And for my last pick against the spread this week, it'll be the Tampa Bay Bucks minus 2.5 at home taking on the Atlanta Falcons. I have a couple total plays that I like this week. I think the first one that jumps off to me, Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders, under 38 points. I think points are going to be hard to come by. Both teams are going to probably be on a backup quarterback. It's going to be an ugly game. I'm going to go with under 38. For my next pick, I'm going to go with under 44, Steelers and Rams. I just think the ball is going to move slowly. I think the Rams will put up some points. I'm sure the Steelers will too, but I don't think they're going to move the ball quickly enough to get over this number. So I'm going to go with under in that game. Lastly, I'm going to go under Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts under 40.5 points. I think the Browns offense has looked a little weak after they've been without Deshaun Watson. Colts are on their backup quarterback. I think points are going to be hard to come by in that game, especially with the Browns defense playing. So those are my picks for this week. Thank you for watching, and let's enjoy some football.